Where did your name come from? DJ Ease.
Well, it actually derived from my original DJ name was DJ Eze, which was spelled Eze.
Yeah.
And then that was like back in 1980, something like 1980, I think it's right, 86. And then I think it was in 87 that the DJ Eze came out of Compton. And it was just like, alright, I can't call myself Eazy-E. There's an Eazy-E now, basically. And a rapper that I was working with at the time, a really close friend of mine, who passed away earlier this year.
Oh, I'm sorry about that.
I said a rapper, a friend of mine, and he called me DJ E. He said, why don't you just call yourself Ease? So, and then he came up with the abbreviation, Experience Sample Expert, and that kind of stuck.
I also saw that recently you started collaborating with and managing a pretty extensive roster of DJs on your own label. What's it like that? What's that like collaborating with those types of individuals?
It's not until you kind of, especially when you're executive producing, overseeing a project, mixing it, co-writing it, all them things. It's like a lot of the things that you're doing in them sessions, you don't actually realise. Well, in fact, when I'm working on my own stuff, I don't think about what I know. I just do it. It's not until when I've been involved in some of these projects, I've kind of started clocking what kind of experience I have and what I do know. You know what I mean? It's kind of only at that point that it's become highlighted. So it's been good for me. In a sense of the whole part of it is about me giving and about me helping others along, but at the same time not realising I'm actually helping myself as well. Do you know what I mean? So it's been a really, really big eye opener. I said the one slight sort of thing with it that I didn't probably envisage was the massive distraction away from my own stuff, because when you're kind of focused on 3 or 4 projects at one time, it's very, very difficult to sort of bring your project into line. You know what I mean?
What's it like being on tour for you? Being out there on stage and going to different locations and across the world, doing the thing that you love to do.
You know what? It's great. I mean, it's like jumping on some sort of some sort of surreal ride, really, because you go out and you do these gigs, and like you say, it could be in many different countries and stuff and that, and it's amazing to sort of feel how much love there is and how much music travels. When at the end of the day we're doing something you love, but it resonates that far. And then when you've sort of come back from having them adventures, and then you sit in your own lounge, and you kind of go, "Did that really just happen?" But I love to be on stage, with the rest of the band, and bouncing that energy around and feeling that energy from the crowd, But obviously, the first comes first, which is being in the studio,
Your style is more laid back. It's more smooth. It's definitely got some jazz and kind of funk overtones. Do you draw like a lot of inspiration from famous jazz artists or funk artists, and do you kind of put that into your music?
I always mention my mentors, and my mentors are Quincy Jones and Norman Whitfield. Those are the two producers for me. For me personally, of all time, just what they've done, track records, are just where they've adventured in sound and sonics. It's still phenomenal to me, and to even try and capture and feel a bit of that is just a massive, massive achievement to try and get anywhere close to that. Like I said, I do come from a reggae background, you know what I mean, but I'm a soulful dude, and when I say soul, I'm about the feeling, do you know what I mean, and different people make music in different ways. Some people make music in a way to shock, to disturb, and all that sort of stuff, you know what I mean. I'm one that goes for feeling, you know what I mean, about making people feel good.
My whole website's philosophy is that every creative out there tends to get hung up sometimes. They get in like a kind of a mental block where they just can't create. They're working on a new design and they can't come up with something, or they're doing a new album and they got nothing. They can't put anything on paper. They can't put anything on the computer. They're just blocked. You know, what for you tends to work? You know, if you're in that state of mind, you're mentally creative blocked.
Well, having years of this roller coaster ride of writing, I've learned to understand myself. I think that's the most important thing, because what happens is that when you know, you could be down to go in the studio, you could be down to make some beats, you could be down to do some stuff, but it's just not happening. And what you realise is you've gone into a physical form of trying to make it happen rather than letting it happen. And there's a difference, because when you started out and when you made, you know, and this is what I believe for anybody who's artistic or creative. I think if they can reflect back on what they have made and what has been great or successful, I can guarantee it was simple, and I can guarantee it flowed. When you go into that space where you are almost battling with yourself to try and make something happen, that means you're not letting it flow. And sometimes that can mean putting down your tools and waiting a few weeks. Do you know what I mean? But you've got to allow it to come to yourself, and that's what I've learned. When you start forcing shit, which I've been there before, you make a bunch of stuff. You know, the general ideas might be good, but the actual outcome of what will be weak. This is my time and space. I need to make a track now.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Time and space doesn't work like that. It's constantly moving and changing. Do you know what I'm saying? And you're constantly moving and changing. Do you know what I'm saying? So that's why I feel you got to let it flow and let it happen to you, because you just fall into a certain space.
What do you think is your greatest marketing tool?
Quality. You can't say, right, I'm going to make something that's quality, that's going to stand the test of time. All you can do is make music that's for yourself and you are totally content with it. And then whoever picks up on it and is feeling it is feeling the vibration of where you're coming from. That's it. I don't think, you know, that's me being completely truthful when I come to making music. I want to make something that really satisfies my soul. Do you know what I'm saying?
You planning to come back to the States and do some shows here?
Yeah, I mean, I'm working on my 7th album now. I reckon I'm about 60% there now. I've had a really busy season here. We do two events, one called Wax the Jam and one called Wax the Beach, which have been great. We've had probably the best summer we've ever had. So now's the time. Now everything's quieting down. We're getting to winter mode, and I get in the studio and start writing stuff and doing my thing. So you know, hopefully, all being well, I'll be aiming at the new year to drop something, and then yeah, I'll be coming to the States definitely. I know that I think it'll be 3 years since we were there, so
yeah.
And the first tour was amazing.